Hello, and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by Battlefield Mike Smith, award-winning director Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 43, and we get to share what we're loving or hating, and we put a bow on Marvel's What If. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund. Hey, we're about to start another show. This one, we're going to start with what you're loving. Savon, you're going to start us off this time. What are you loving this week, my man?
All right, cool. What's up with people? All right. So what I'm loving, we're going to see, because I can't say that I'm loving it yet. I can say I've started to indulge in it, and maybe in a couple weeks I can give you a better report. So I've been at this since 2014. But every year I say, man, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of 2K. I'm sick of the nonsense. I'm done with it. I'm sick of playing this my career and getting screwed over and dunked on and playoff runs that don't go well and all this. And every year I end up getting the new 2K because maybe I just don't like myself. I don't know. Maybe it's FOMO. Maybe I've just been conditioned. Maybe it's my COVID microchip. Maybe it's a mix of all the above. But last night, I downloaded the new 2K because I just had this desire to really want to dunk and just ball out. So I've downloaded it. I'm a big fan of the general manager mode because my idea of fun is basically just playing in Excel spreadsheets and managing salary cap and learning the NBA collective bargaining agreement. Wow. So I downloaded the game. I've been playing it. It's fun. It's still a new 2K, so I'm trash. So I'm getting blown out by mediocre teams. The Grizzlies beat me by 15 last night. It's not a good feeling. But I've had some of my most gaming fun ever building a dynasty. I like to take a crappy, mediocre team, in this case New Orleans, and really try to play 5 years into the game's future and build something. And I'm saying I'm unsure because I'm not sure if this is going to be fun or not. Maybe it'll cause more stress than fun. We'll see. So give us maybe another episode cycle or two. I'll give a report back on whether or not I wasted my money buying the new 2K and whether or not this will lead to me not buying the one coming out next year. But I did check my PlayStation library, and I have owned every 2K since like 2K15. So
it's funny because friend of the show, Alan Wynn, is often in a similar yearly predicament with FIFA, which progresses or doesn't progress very similar to 2K in terms of the new things they do. So it's fun watching Savon and Alan be like two people in an abusive relationship, like convincing each other to like go back to that abusive relationship every year. I think this is like the second year we've all been friends, Savon, so it's been fun to now see y'all again be like, should I get it? And then we'll be like, yeah, if you get it, I'll get it. Like, I'll get it.
Yeah, when he said I got FIFA, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll get 2K.
Oh, did that? Okay, well, there you go. Okay.
No, when he said, I was like, last night I was like, man, do I want to get 2K? I was like, I haven't got
you could
FIFA.
be like our other friend of the show, Will Katz, who I'll watch. I'll be like on PlayStation. I look at my friends and it's like, Will Katz playing MLB The Show 17.
God, no.
Never give
couldn't
it up.
be me. When I see friends playing, I'm like, why are you playing 2K? And that's how I know I'm hooked. I look down on them.
All right, well, mine is really simple. Since we just had our baby, my parents actually volunteered.
Baby.
Well, you
Baby.
had your baby 4 weeks ago.
Well, you were around to have the
2 weeks
No,
ago.
it was
like a week.
In confidently wrong time.
In confidently wrong time. Yeah, 2.5 weeks, something like that now. But what's been really nice actually is my parents offered to fly into Austin. They live in California. So they're gonna stay with us.
Wes. So what you're saying is what you're loving this week is not your baby.
Not,
Is that
not
where
the baby.
you led with the baby, and now we're
Jen,
hard-turning
we are
to something
sorry.
else.
We tried. Like I
love that
talked
my
to your
parents
sister,
are
Wes.
helping with this
Your
tell you,
sister is like
the
so
baby-
excited. Like I could feel her joy through Instagram.
She is
and Wes
probably
like,
more joyous and excited than I am about this whole
Oh
thing.
my god.
All the fun and the responsibility as an aunt.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
it's
For
so
sure.
sick.
There's
Savon
a lot
has
of
said that,
there's
yeah.
a lot of pressure not to mess this up, guys. I'm telling you. But
I know.
Oh, you just
So-
make another one. Try again.
I turned out fine. I mean, like, it's come on now. It can't be that bad.
I have 5 siblings. Sometimes
had
you just gotta
parents-
just shoot your shot. Roll the dice enough times and you'll get away.
Volume shooting.
which one are you, Savon? Which one are you?
I think I'm doing good. So I'm doing great. I always say I'm a top
The
tier
James
Jones.
Harden of procreating.
I'm all first team amongst the Jones family.
Oh my goodness.
We're doing a list of my siblings and my family. Top 5 Joneses.
All right. So it was so nice of them. They've actually been out here and just kind of helping out around the house. Like, but the top highlight of them being here has been them just making food. Like me and Jen, we don't really love cooking. We do it like once a week so that we're not spending a gazillion dollars on, going out. We don't DoorDash. But we do the same things over and over again. It's not a lot of variation. We do like a quinoa casserole thing. We do chili.
Don't feel the need to
do
expand on your boring
lasagna.
menu. Like
Yeah, our menu. We don't eat a lot, so we really only have to cook once or twice a week. So our by the time 3 months or 4 months rolls around, we can kind of repeat the cycle. We're not tired of it, anyways. So my mom, she likes cooking, so she kind of prepared some like recipes beforehand to bring to Austin. So she's been like cooking us up some stuff. She made this thing called like Napa soup. It's like a cabbage soup with like she made like with a pork broth in it. Like she took the time to make an actual broth for a soup. Like I would never do that. Like beef broth all the way out of the box, plop that in, cook it up, we're good. She like actually boiled the bones and stuff. Like she was doing it like an actual real way. The food tastes good. When people like put love and care into it and have time to do it. So.
So you're telling us you've been spending all day playing video games with your friends while your mom is cooking you food?
Well, I also have to get up 2 or 3 times a night to feed this baby, so sleeping has been 2 hours at a time or so, and then waking up for an hour and a half or 2 or 3, and then going back to sleep. So it's been a little up and down. But you're right. I today I vacuumed and mopped. So I'm still. I'm still
hell
doing
yeah!
things.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So we're
First
still doing
time
some
this
chores.
year.
Still
Hell
doing
yeah.
some chores. My dad's been taking on some small projects. He tried to fix our door. It doesn't shut very well. It's like one of those. It's like like how in New Orleans they say like old houses, because like the windows and doors don't shut. Like we're having that problem here in Austin. So my dad was trying to fix some of it. It was like halfway successful. He's still working on it. He got a chisel from Lowe's or from Home Depot to like chisel out some of the door frame. It's been an adventure for sure.
I like that what we're loving is now just turning into Savon being ambivalent about something, me complaining about something, and you just giving us like a life update. Like, here's what I've been eating the past month. Like we're having some house problems. Like here's that, and then Brian actually like gives us an interesting opinion on something.
Wes, I mean, really, it's called update your Instagram story or something like. That would work as well.
That's how people want to find out. Huh?
You're like,
not
take
over
a
the
picture
podcast.
of
Look at
that broth
this
soup.
really boring lasagna we ate.
Dude, our
Done.
lasagna is so good. I'll have to send you guys the recipe. It's delicious. It does take a little bit of time. It takes like an hour to prep, maybe, or an hour and a half to prep, and then another hour to cook. So it's a time investment. But it's
All right, well,
it's
Brian,
good.
before I go ahead and escalate myself,
Do it.
Tell us what you've been loving.
Well, I was going to talk about how I'm loving the national park system and visiting national parks and how they're beautiful and they're like unworldly, just incredible
Unworldly.
places to visit. Yeah, it's like visiting another planet, some of these places. Shout out to Bryce Canyon National Park. Anyway, however, that is not the thing that I'm truly loving. That was just something
Left
that I
turn.
did and I was going to
Left turn.
talk about.
Okay.
What happened is that the New York effing Knicks won a buzzer beater on Friday night in their last preseason game. They're undefeated in the preseason, and Madison Square Garden was going wild. I was going wild, and my true love came out. I'm like, national parks, that's not a love. New York Knicks 2021, 2022. This season is going to be so fun. I don't even care that they are probably not going to even do as nearly as well as they did last year, but there's just got like this team that has a lot of players that are very likable. They all got chemistry. We got some new weapons in Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. We got some great draft picks. Our last year's rookies who are now in their sophomore year, they're looking good. Shout out to Obi Toppin. It's just going to be a fun, scrappy year for the New York Knicks. I'm talking about consistency, effort, the possibility and potential to actually win games. Like, that's all I could possibly ask for as a fan, and it is finally here. Amen.
A question, and then we're moving on from this. Does preseason in basketball mean anything?
Absolutely no, but the Knicks fought very hard for every single point they got. They overplayed all of their starters in these preseason games while the other teams sat their stars, and it was just magnificent. It was great basketball, and like you can just like it's palpable the kind of energy that all the fans are bringing right now.
That was the ugliest buzzer beater I'd ever seen.
It was so
what?
good.
Are
It
you
was a
kidding
step
me?
back
That's a
splash.
step back.
Yeah.
Like 20-foot
Nice.
buzzer
It
beater.
was
Come on.
nice.
He like lost the handle. He looked uncomfortable. No, it was still
No,
wet.
that was the best part
went
about
in.
it. He like fumbled it a little bit, and then he drained it, and it was wonderful.
It was all net. There is, I just to take it halfway serious, like in the NFL at the end of the season, some teams who have qualified for the playoffs, I don't know if that's the right word, clinched a playoff berth, they sometimes sit their stars or their starters to make sure that they're not injured. They can rest them up. And then sometimes that works really well. And they do great in the playoffs because they're rested, they're not injured. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that really messes them up because they don't have any rhythm going into the playoffs and they get beat by one of the like wild card teams. So maybe Tom Thibodeau is onto something here, right? He's like, let's just roll into the season hot. We know who we're going with. Like, let's just keep it going, keep that momentum flowing. And, the first week of the season, they're going to beat up on 2 or 3 teams. Shoot, in the East, that could mean the difference between 6th seed and 5th seed. You're out of the play-in, and that's a way better place to be. So maybe he's onto something.
82 game season.
Maybe he's into something.
He also has a track record of running his players into the ground.
I think that's just him. It's an 82 game season. I don't think.
So we'll see. But I do like the momentum. It feels good for once. I'm not like tepidly cautious about the Knicks and like not wanting to even dip my toe for danger of bad things happening. I actually legitimately feel very excited about this year.
Amazing.
It's a
Mike
new
feels
feeling.
good to feels good.
Mike, what are you loving this week?
I'm not loving it. I'm hating it. And it has been weeks of me hating it. It's been months of me hating this. And Savon is excited because Savon like gets it but doesn't care as much as I do. So he kind of gets the best of both worlds.
Savon is doing a huge touchdown dance
This
now.
is the most enthusiastic he's been this entire session.
I
am so just annoyed at the discourse, the Reddit, just everything around the new release of this Battlefield game coming up. For those of you that, also live under a rock, Battlefield is a massive franchise. It's comparable to Call of Duty. It doesn't do yearly releases typically, so it's a bit different than you're waiting. Savon is gassing me up right now, which is also getting. I think you're trying to make me more mad. Here's the
tell
thing
him why you mad.
Get it, Mike.
Battlefield. It has the most insufferable fans on anything. Find me a fan base. It is not nearly as insufferable as Battlefield fans. So let me explain this to you. The Battlefield fans have this idea of what the games are. What those games are were 20 years ago. Do not exist anymore. It was these old games that existed on PC. So all of these people are consistently comparing the new games to those old games. And besides that,
what critiques do they have? I'm not familiar with anything Battlefield other than the one time I tried a beta and I just got obliterated.
Let me explain to you what Battlefield is at its core. It is a sandbox. So it's a giant map. So it's at its core, it's conquest.
Where's the jungle, Jim?
So there's a bunch of different bases, and it's just the team that has control of the most bases gets points. And then as whoever, has the most points at the end, something like that, you win. So the great thing about it is it's almost like an open world, right? I can go anywhere I want. I have vehicles. I can go on the ground. I can work with a squad. It's this open sandbox. And like because of that, it's not so linear as COD where it's just like running around shooting, going here and here. There's so many different crazy things that can happen, which can be great. The same way to Star Wars, Battlefield fans just hate every game. There was one game about 10 years ago called Battlefield 4. Somehow in the dialogue now, that is what people are saying as is the best game. Since that Battlefield 4, which was a modern shooter, it came out around the time when Modern Warfare was a big thing for Call of Duty. They put out 2 games that were not successful and arguably tanked. One was a World War I game, which Savon is very skeptical about, because who wants to play a World War I shooter? You're playing with like muskets, essentially. World War II was... then they put out another one that was a World War II game that was just buggy. It was stupid. Like the developer just really did not care. And I guess one thing I'm omitting is that over all of this is EA. They are the publisher of the game. Here's the first thing that I hate about the Battlefield fans is that they just want to hate it. So like if you look at the subreddit, it's complaining and you just get this overarching sense of negativity, but there people are complaining about different things and don't realize that and just think that they're brothers in arms. So you'll have like someone complaining, oh, well, there's not enough recoil. And then there's someone saying, oh, well, there's way too much recoil. And they're like, yeah, I fucking hate this game. And it's like, well, you're not listening to what you're saying. So there's that. So there's people that just literally want to hate the game and don't really care what the actual like concept is that you're complaining about, don't want to give like any form of feedback. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just always saying the last game was better. So like I said, everybody was saying now Battlefield 4 is the holy grail of the franchise. I agree with that. Savon doesn't agree with that. I really like that game. So now everybody is saying, oh, well, Battlefield 4 is so great. And then there's a lot of people on the subreddit bringing a post being like, oh, well, Battlefield 4 ruined Battlefield. It's just trying to be Call of Duty, which is the same exact thing people are saying about this game. I'm sorry you're going to have to bleep me for this, but like if you one mic rant, this is what you're going to get. So now people are saying with this last game that totally tanked, oh, well, now in retrospect, they did all these great things and they really did all these features. What happened to that? So there's just no cohesion. And I feel really bad for the developer because it's like, and I've said this to y'all before, like the job of having to be the community manager for someone that makes games like this must be the worst job in the world because your job is to go look on Reddit and see these dumb neckbeards complaining about both sides of the fence because they can't get their like thoughts straight. And it's like, oh, well, Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1. And it's just so infuriating because I really want this game to work. At its core, and Savon can attest to this, it is a really dope experience of like collaborating. You can really do what you want. It's like a pinnacle of like a first-person shooter.
Facts.
They are not set up for success, namely because EA is just like got their tendrils into it. And it's a shame that this game seems to not be going in the right direction. And it's just become like kind of a money pit. And it just seems like they're trying to copy things from Warzone and copy things that can make microtransactions based off of that. So all of this to say, it's really frustrating for me to try and like enjoy the game, like take in the discourse around it when it's just such a virulent, toxic cesspool of just unproductive conversation. I will die on this hill. It is the absolute worst fan base in digital media. And like, it's not cap. I genuinely believe that. And I feel so bad for the developers who just, that is your audience. And it's an arguably small part, but as someone that is a hype beast at the end of the day, I am a part of that community. I do not participate in it. I do not endorse it, but I cannot pull myself away from it. I check that subreddit frequently. You know how sad that is for me? I know what it is. Like talking about Savon going back to an abusive relationship every year. I do it every 20 minutes, bro. I go back to this damn subreddit to hope something is changed.
I was about to say, like literally all you have to do is not check this subreddit.
And I can't. I cannot,
just enjoy
Wesley.
it.
I cannot. I just can't. I just like, I am so invested in this game being good. It
My
has
mom,
so much potential. I've gassed it up. Savon can attest to this. I like every time. I'm such a sucker, dude. I'm like sending all this. You're in the group text too. Like I'm just like always sharing this stuff. I have so much hope for it, and I know I'm gonna be disappointed. And maybe part of that is because all the information I'm just taking into my eye holes and my ear holes all the time is just these people so upset with the game when they don't even know what they're upset about. And rant. God damn it.
You and my mom are the same person. She's always talking about how the Nextdoor app,
Battlefield.
Everybody on Nextdoor app is like complaining and talking about like how you can't do this and can't do that, and they're so negative. And I'm like, Mom, you could just uninstall this app off your phone, or you don't go to the website. And she's like, no, but
she
sometimes
wants to know.
Sometimes there's good information.
She has hope. Maybe I'm a hopeful person, Wes. Maybe I'm an optimist.
No,
and Battlefield 2042 is robbing me of that.
You know what you're getting. You're getting complete toxic negativity. She knows this too, and she can't look away. She cannot look away from this Nextdoor app, and it's horrible.
It's like a train wreck, you know? You're going to watch it.
Oh, and she tries to drag me into this
It's a train wreck like not only like a train wreck full of puppies, but it's like my puppies.
She's like, see, you should get the Nextdoor app. That way you can get this information too. And I was like, no, I don't want this information. This information that you're telling me about, that's not information I need or want about my whole entire neighborhood. No, I don't want that. But she wants to drag me into it.
Why are all these Redditors picking on Battlefield though? I mean, like how
I don't know.
Isn't it
That's
every
the
game
weird
now though
thing.
at this point?
But it is so. I'm not exaggerating. It is so particularly acute for this franchise, for this game. Like a lot of them have this idea, like I'm a Battlefield veteran, so my voice means more than the average other fucking idiot on the internet.
Yeah, Mike, do you like the last 3 movies of the Star Wars trilogy though? I mean, you know, as someone who likes Star Wars,
no, but like. This is so different, and it's so different because it's like that is objectively bad. Like we have those. This isn't out yet. Like let them try. Like let them have.
There's too many lightsabers. There's not enough lightsabers.
Yeah, exactly. It's that type of. I'm on one side of the hill, you know. Like, if you like,
and it's the right side of the hill. Obviously,
that is the right side of the hill.
I
don't know,
but
here's the thing with Battlefield. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be good. I don't know if it's gonna be bad. The game is not out yet, and it's like. Fair. Oh, well, give us more information. They're giving us too much information. When is the beta? Like, why is the beta delayed? Delay the beta more. That's another thing. It's like people are saying the game should be out now. The game should be delayed. It's just like it's driving me crazy. It feels like I'm going through a loop. I cannot unsubscribe from it. In fact, I'm subscribed to 2 Battlefield subreddits, so I can see if there's any contrasting of opinions on either.
That's horrible. Do you want to do a quick what you're loving about how everybody should be rich or no?
No, I'll just say I got an iPad. Connected to that, I deleted social media off my phone, which has actually been pretty cool for the screen time. So when I'm out, I can actually be present because I was getting to the point where I was checking the Battlefield subreddit when I was like out trying to be a normal person. So maybe this also helped with that. But iPads are cool. I would recommend it. Like, you know, you can get one for like $300 now, get one used. It's nice. I don't look at my phone as much. And now like, I have more intentional screen time. It's like, oh, rather than me just getting myself worked up all day, like, oh, well, because I have like my ADHD is like I'll impulsively take on my phone, open Reddit, and now the third click is Battlefield 2042. So now, you know, I can at least be intentional. Like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and get myself upset now.
Yeah, I could look at Reddit on my iPad. It's bigger.
It's not a
okay, that's it. End rant. Right. Look, I'm going to, like the same way as Savon, I'm going to check back in. We'll see how the game is. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm just so sick of just
Mike,
neckbeards. What?
Most gamers, bro, and a lot of these people in these communities a lot of you either haven't had a job before or they haven't had a job where they've had to work in anything customer service related.
That's the thing. It's
and
like they like
who
armchair developers. It's like, well, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just do that? Like, I recognize, like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, what it takes to make a game. So it's like, why are you just so sure that it's so easy to do all these things? Either way.
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those, I know I wouldn't want somebody coming to my job who never did it telling me how I need to do my job. Wesley, I'd look really foolish if I came to your job and started trying to tell you what to do. Or Brian, if I came to your job and started telling you what to do. Or Mike came to your job and did the same, right? So what I remind myself with gaming stuff is, Savon, you don't know diddly squat, so let the pros do their stuff. Throw in your 2 cents with a grain of salt, and let the pros do their thing.
However,
Like
if you
2
showed up on
comments.
set, that'd be pretty fun. Not gonna
That'll
lie.
be, yeah.
Just,
Like,
just
with
don't
a rope.
critique.
With
No
a rope.
critique.
there's 2 comments on this video. One is them, who cares? This game isn't going to sell anything. It's going to tank. And then the other comment that's equally upvoted is, who cares? This game is going to sell a bunch, so it doesn't make a difference. And they're both upvoted. And it's the same people upvoting them.
How many times have you voted?
I downvote. All I do is downvote. I
Mike
don't
is the watcher.
I literally
He
just get. Yeah, I am the arbiter of content on our Battlefield 2042.
He has a vow
I
not to
genuinely
upvote or
like
downvote.
one day when that comfy money hits and we can pay people to come on the show. I want to get a community manager just to be like, how do you do it? Like, how do you take that job? It's like literally only complaints.
All right. Well, I'm gonna set the timer for 8 minutes here, and we'll talk about our next thing, which is actually that a couple weeks ago, Disney wrapped up, or Marvel wrapped up, the What If series, which seems to be kind of a niche series. So we'll do a spoilers discussion on that, but it's gonna be short. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be hard hitting. So, gentlemen, don't pull any punches. The spoilers here are that at the end, so we talked about this about halfway through, there were 9 episodes, and by the end, the Watcher, who is always called the Watcher, he never gets a name, although you guys have called him Uatu, he gets involved. He breaks his oath that to whoever, that he's not going to be involved. He's going to be completely ambivalent and laissez-faire, but he decides that that's no longer the path forward, that Ultravision is too great a threat to every multiverse, every universe, and therefore he does need to start inserting things. The only thing that I'll say is I did not see him using the demonic Doctor Strange as an ally. Turns out that the demonic Doctor Strange plays an important role in the... I don't know. I was going to say the sashaying of Ultravision, but that's the wrong word. I'm not sure what word I'm looking for. The stoppage.
Makes him sound fabulous. Sachet.
The sachet. Sometimes words are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, to defeat him.
Beating him?
What?
Beating?
But like, you didn't defeat him. You just sort of like contained, or like, like you put him in a box.
You put him in an orb.
You
a
like,
defeat.
you like held him off. You
Diffuse the
you
threat.
held him off.
Stopgap.
Stop.
Yeah, this sounds like defeat to me.
All right. So my first question is, and this is for Savon, there was a missing episode, and Savon kind of noticed this. Allegedly, it features Gamora and Tony Stark. Do you think the series is worse off for it, or do you think it kind of worked the way that they did it anyways at the end?
No, I mean, it's worse off for it. I don't think it's in a way that just takes away from it significantly, but that's one more piece of the puzzle that could have made the finale make a little bit more sense, right? It was clear that the Infinity Crusher bit in the final episodes was very important, and I think having seen what that would have looked like with the Gamora Tony Stark episode would have been some really nice context to tie it together. So in that regard, that's disappointing, but I also am very good about extending grace for production stoppages that were because of COVID-19. And so a lot of the producers behind the show said, like, and essentially that's why that happened. So does it suck? Yes. We're still going to get it next season, so we'll still get to maybe see it in like a prequel sense, and that still can work.
So Savon, me, Brian have all been into this. Brian, what have you liked about the show, especially maybe the second half?
Ooh, I love the way they really took this and strung together all the characters that we met over the course of the season, and brought it all together in a satisfying, metaversal kind of way. Like just that moment of Ultravision smashing Uatu through all the different universes. That was like peak comic book moment, and I'm so glad that they did it in this animated way. Something like that we probably never see in a superhero movie, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago or whatever. But now we're at the point where some of these things that kind of lived on pages for a long time are getting their due on screen, and they're coming to life in such amazing ways. Stuff like that was just great.
Savon, did you want to add anything?
I mean, not really. I mean, similar boat. It's just I'm going to say this nonstop, but the animation let them really just go full send and do some really off the wall concepts that just don't work live action. And getting to see Uatu and Ultravision really throw down was just like, oh, the animators had to have had so much fun. And them bringing back, I think they call him Supreme Strange, but them bringing back that character and then them still going ham sandwich with the just different animation styles. I loved it. They really got to just go have fun with it, and the show's better for it.
Mike made a face about ham sandwich. So, Savon, do you want to explain what going ham means? Maybe Mike doesn't know.
I understand what it means.
Okay.
You don't
Yeah,
like a ham sandwich?
I like
Ham
I'm
sandwich
the
is
young
delicious.
one here. How are you
Maybe he didn't know.
colloquial old-splaining, young-splaining me right now?
All right. Mike, why are you kind of like lukewarm on it, or why didn't it quite hit home for you?
I don't know. I really don't. I like shorts. I've said this on the show. I really like
You're not a
Star
pants
Wars
guy,
Vision.
shorts guy. Just kidding. Keep going.
Dad is in the building.
I like shorts. I really like like Visions, Star Wars Visions. I really enjoy it because it's almost like, as a viewer, it's kind of low stakes. Like, if you miss something or you don't like it, you're on to the next one. But some of it, I don't know, with this, it just like didn't necessarily connect with me. Maybe I also, in terms of the screen time, I need to do a better job paying attention to shows, because I think like these are all very much like developing quickly. So if you miss things, you're kind of set behind. I've liked what I've seen. Like the zombie one was pretty cool, but maybe, just maybe, there's a reason some of these side characters are side characters and don't put whole things on their backs. Now that I do know, and I asked y'all this before we recorded, like, is there an bigger thread? I might try and start from the beginning, or just continue to kind of see where the bigger thread goes. While y'all were talking about this, one thing I was reading is that it seems like, and I don't know big spoilers here, but there is some type of multiverse connection with the new Venom movie. So it does seem like everything Marvel is doing is going towards the multiverse. And this might be a pretty crucial part of that. So why it didn't work with me, I honestly don't know. I think maybe it was just too I can't think of the word, but just like too independent. And I think what I really love about Marvel is the world and how everything is connected. So maybe that's why me, as someone that's only gotten into the movies, this doesn't connect with, versus someone like Savon, who's currently shaking his head at me, who loves the comics and the true essence of these characters, really does appreciate it in a way that I never could. And I'll take that L. I'm not saying that I didn't say it's bad. So don't shake your head at me, Savon.
I'm not about to say that.
I did not say it's bad.
That's not what I'm about to say. I know you didn't say that. I know you didn't say that.
I'm just saying it doesn't connect with me.
I know you didn't say that.
And that very well could be a me problem. So don't trust
Nothing's wrong
my
with you, Mike. You're perfect. You're perfect.
Well, no, my problem is that Mike sounds like the Battlefield and Star Wars fans that he's upset about by saying, we've had previous episodes where we had previous episodes where you talked about everything being connected can be hurting Marvel, and how that's something that's a con, and how you're saying this. And I'm just like, bruh.
Well,
we have had entire conversations about how it all connecting is a con.
Well, no.
Or how, there's too much connecting.
I think it's a good thing that the show is now connecting things. And I think that I don't think either way is bad. I just think maybe something about me and the Marvel universe, I connect with it because those little moments are part of something bigger. And these small things I struggle to really appreciate in the moment, which is also kind of dumb now that I'm saying it, because it's still the same characters, right? Like T'Challa is still T'Challa, just thrown in a different world. I think, you know what? I think it's just my ADHD.
You complained about Black Widow having all kinds of larger MCU references. That was one of your biggest complaints. But it was forced in that
instance. It was bad then. I wanted it to be good, and it was bad in those instances. Like Infinity War, I love. Oh, wow. That hurts. That really hurts. But it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. I didn't say it's bad. Why am I being attacked if I didn't say it's bad?
Wes, you better introduce Mike as Battlefield Mike from now on.
Thanks, Battlefield Mike. The ending kind of wraps up the show in kind of a nice way. I think it does tie together some of the previous episodes. Although what's also kind of nice is it didn't involve every single episode, right? Like no zombies come back, things like that.
Oh, but they do.
Do they? Is my memory just like not?
Yeah,
remembering?
they dropped a mountain of zombies on Vision.
Oh, they did.
Zombie Scarlet Witch.
All right, never mind. So they all come back. and kind of they all get involved at the end, and it sometimes it does seem like they're trying to sprinkle in too much, but the ending, did you buy it? I think the only thing that was like a little bit of a miss for me was clearly if Ultravision has all 6 Infinity Stones and is kind of all powerful here, not necessarily all knowing, but all powerful, that a lot of the things they were doing to kind of disable him or to confuse him or whatever wouldn't have necessarily worked. All he had to do was like change the reality. He would have had to change the time and he could have gotten past it. So to me, that was the only part that felt a little bit off. But otherwise, I thought a lot of the things that they did were really cool in the way they finished it up. Savon, where you at?
I thought it was fine. Wes, this is one of those things where when you're in comic books and you start having these all-powerful, omniscient level weapons, there's never going to be a way that people get defeated where you just say, oh, that was so, clean and neat.
Yeah.
One of the biggest complaints about Infinity War was that, Thanos could have killed all of them if he wanted. They had to write it into his character that he intentionally wasn't trying to kill people because they know riding around something this powerful is next to impossible. So some of that, bro, you got to just suspend your disbelief and accept, some of the ridiculous stuff Strange did what he could and just enjoy the show. Because if you read the comics, I promise you, you will not feel any better about how they resolve some of these conflicts with just omniscient level characters.
Yeah.
That being said, it was fun. It was a cool concept bringing together these different versions of characters. And I enjoyed the little neat trick of, them bringing in like a trader, multiple traders to have the plan go a certain direction. I thought that was fun. Like, it's nice that, Killmonger's a tool no matter what. And him being a tool is like a part of the plan. Like, hey, we kind of need this guy to be a tool. I thought it was fun, though. I liked watching it. I love watching the super strong Strange because they really just go balls to the wall with just the concepts of, okay, let's just have this mage go crazy.
Right on. Brian, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'm with you, Savon. Like, I give them a pass on suspending my disbelief. Just, knowing that like this is a 30-minute show. It's a fun ride. They're not going to be able to explain away all these things. But they sort of hint like, okay, these stones will work differently in different universes, right? Like Gamora's stone crushing machine didn't do what it was meant to do. So, okay, I'll take that as the reason. And plus you got Strange, who has his own time stone. And he's also overpowered with all this, dark Cthulhu magic or whatever it is. So who knows what the extent of his abilities are to actually protect people from Infinity Stone wielding vision. So I'm cool with that. But one thing that was kind of weird to me was, at first Killmonger was like obviously the big red flag. Like, why is Killmonger in this group? But I also thought T'Challa, Star-Lord T'Challa, or whatever we want to call him, that was also kind of like a weird mix or a weird character to throw into the mix. Even though I know he does like a sort of pickpocket thing, which kind of works. It just seemed a little forced.
Fair enough. All right. This is just a quick, pretty much yes or no, maybe, a sentence or two. Would you recommend this show to a casual watcher friend like Will Katz, who we've had on the show, who said he's kind of more casual? And are you bought in for the second season? Savon starts off.
I don't know. I think from a visual perspective, yes, a casual would enjoy it. I think the problem is that the whole what if, the entire premise is based around you having seen these original things to see what the splintering event was. So as someone who's seen all the Marvel movies, it's kind of hard for me to separate just because I'm going to get every tiny reference they make. So I don't know. I don't know if somebody who hasn't seen the first Captain America movie, if they could appreciate a Captain Carter story when they don't know the original Captain Carter or the original Steve, right? Like, would my mom even appreciate that? So I would say they could, but it would be some episodes, it's harder than others. Others are much better disconnected from the movies than some other episodes. So it's kind of case by case.
Cool. Mike?
I don't know, because like Savon said, on the one hand, these are independent standalone stories that one could enjoy, but to really enjoy them, you have to understand who the characters are, and to understand who the characters are, you have to kind of consume some of the other stuff. I think, honestly, like the movies themselves are more first-timer friendly than the show.
Cool. Brian, you're nodding.
Yeah, this one's for the nerds. This is a comic book nerd like love letter. Like, here you go. This is what you really want the MCU to be.
Fan service.
I'm only going to throw this one to Savon. Savon, what impact do you see this having on the rest of the MCU now that they've kind of been to these different multiversal worlds, had this like dimension-breaking movement, and then obviously this dimensional side pocket dimension where they're keeping Ultravision now. How can we expect to see this in your mind? How can you expect to see this affecting the MCU moving forward?
Yeah, well, one, it's just always something in your back pocket that you can keep, because when you open the multiverse thing, really nothing's off the table. So it's a nice back pocket thing that they can connect to the MCU if they want. I don't think they necessarily will, but they can. I think the biggest takeaway from this is I think Marvel really showed that you can embrace the really off-the-wall niche concepts that exist only in the drawn comic format. And like it can work. And a lot of stuff that maybe, okay, can we get actors for this? Can we get the budget for this? No. Can we animate it and have it be great? Yes. And I think there's a lot of other cool characters and concepts that could be explored through this format. I think they're going to be much more open to it than maybe how they've been in the past. I don't see this happening with early MCU stuff. This is because they've gotten a lot of creative liberty and freedom. So it's a good sign.
That makes sense.
They have FU money now. I've said that, and I will continue to say it.
I don't think it's FU money. I think it's, all right, be as creative as you want money, which is kind of that, but I think there is a distinction.
Yeah. I mean, that Doctor Strange episode still blew me away. I think I've watched it multiple times now, and it just, the level of acting, the story, the writing just continued to like hold my attention in a way that not many things have in the past, few months in terms of Marvel television, but I thought the other episodes were kind of like so-so, like some of them were up and down. But I think for me, that one was by far my favorite. And even compared to like the ending episodes, I didn't care as much what happened in those as much as I cared about what happened in the Doctor Strange episode. So really glad that they were able to find, I mean, you could probably make the argument that like, hey, just having one episode out of the 9 that stands out as like being fantastic, probably a win, right? Like, yeah, maybe not everything was amazing, but there's going to be something that other people gravitate to, and Marvel learns from this about like what works and what doesn't, and can sort of incorporate some of those ideas or some of those techniques moving forward in terms of their storytelling. So.
And I think without a doubt, at least one of these characters is going to make some sort of cameo or Easter egg appearance in the movies. No doubt in my mind.
If I'm betting on it, it's going to be Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think so. Or Uatu himself.
Maybe in this next movie, maybe in Multiverse of Madness.
I'd personally rather not have them cross over the animated with live action stuff, but either way, it's exciting because to your point, they're gonna like Marvel. One thing I'll give them props for, they learn from their mistakes. They look at stuff and they do a pretty decent job of, if something didn't go well, trying to at least improve from it. So or things that didn't go well, you can know exactly why it didn't go well. It's not just, what went wrong. I'm excited. They're gonna learn from what didn't work with this.
You know who doesn't learn from their mistakes?
Me?
Battlefield.
Mike?
Battlefield Mike. Battlefield fans.
I don't learn from my mistakes either. It's a crucial character flaw.
Battlefield fans, if you want to hit up Mike, his Instagram is at Mike_Smith with an F at the end. But you can hit the rest of us.
Argue with me.
On Instagram and Twitter at confidently_pod. We want to hear what you thought about What If, and if you think that the hype beasts are ruining Battlefield in a way that Mike doesn't approve of, for sure. Also, if you have parents that have come to stay with you, I highly recommend it. Friends, we're out of here. Have a great one. Go visit all of our sponsors. Remember Hulu and FX, they're sponsoring us too because Brian said they're amazing. And Comfy, they're still our longtime sponsor, but not really our sponsor. So, you know how it goes. Tell your friends about us. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.